They whispered your name, didn't they? My child. Their voices laced with the dust of finality. They spoke of endings, of chapters irrevocable closed, of a story that had reached its tragic, silent conclusion. They looked upon the landscape of your life, then, and saw only a barren expanse, a place where dreams had withered and hope had taken its last breath. They pointed to the smoke, the remnants, the chilling quiet where vibrant melodies once danced, and they nodded with the certainty that pierced your already wounded heart. It is finished, the echo resounded, not from my lips, but from the chorus of the limited and the afraid. They saw the ashes, thick and suffocating, and believed them to be your tomb. But even then, my beloved, even as those pronouncements hung heavy in the air, I was there, beneath those very ashes they so readily defined you by. I was already at work, tracing the outline of a song you could not yet imagine. A resurrection song only I could compose. You breathed in that dust of despair, didn't you? Each particle a memory of what was. A ghost of laughter silenced, a shadow of a promise unfulfilled. The air was thick with the scent of char and loss. Your world, once so vivid, so alight with color and song, had become a monochrome canvas of grief. And their words, their words became the relentless soundtrack to your desolation. Broken, they murmured, and you felt the fracture splinter deeper within your soul. Lost, they declared, and you stumbled in the sudden, terrifying darkness, unsure of any path forward. Forsaken, they concluded, and the chill of an unbearable cosmic loneliness wrapped around you, threatening to extinguish the last embers of your spirit. I saw you, my precious one, huddled amidst the ruins. I saw the tears that carved silent rivers down your face, each one a testament to the love you had poured out, the dreams you had dared to nurture. I saw your hands, once so quick to build and create, now clenched in sorrow or lying limp in resignation. They saw failure. I saw a spirit momentarily overwhelmed by a storm too fierce. They saw an ending. I saw a sacred pause, a harrowing transition. They saw defeat. I saw the agonizing crucible necessary for the forging of something unbreakable, something exquisitely beautiful, something undeniably new. Remember the weight of that silence, the silence where my voice once seemed to resonate so clearly, now replaced by the hollow echo of your own unanswered questions. Where are you? You cried into the void, your voice raw with a pain that reached the very heavens. Why have you allowed this? The questions were not accusations, my child, but the desperate pleas of a heart that could not reconcile the devastation it witnessed with the love it had once known so intimately from me. And in that perceived silence, their narratives grew louder, more insistent. You see, there's no answer. You are truly alone. But my silence, beloved, was never absence. It was the stillness of the master weaver, deeply engrossed, hands moving too subtly for the agitated eye to perceive. It was the quiet of the divine architect, drawing new blueprints upon the tear-soaked parchment of your heart. While they pronounced your demise, I was measuring the foundations for your rising. While they wrote your epitaph in the dust, I was composing the lyrics of your liberation, choosing notes born from the very essence of your pain, transmuting them into a melody of profound strength. They spoke of the ashes as a final testimony to what was lost. They sifted through them, perhaps with pity, perhaps with a morbid curiosity, perhaps even with a veiled, unacknowledged satisfaction that their own lives had not met such a fate. They could not see, nor did they wish to see, the fierce, protective love that enveloped you even there. They could not comprehend that those ashes were not a sign of my abandonment, but a marker of where a profound transformation was to occur. For in my economy, my child, nothing is ever truly lost. No experience, no tear, no moment of suffering is wasted. The ashes themselves, so symbolic of utter destruction to the human eye, hold within them the very nutrients for the most extraordinary new growth. They become the fertile ground for a garden they cannot yet envision. You felt their gaze, the weight of their judgments, the finality of their conclusions. It was a heavy cloak, woven from their fears and their limited understanding. And in your vulnerability, in your exhaustion, you may have even begun to believe them. You may have looked at your reflection in the shards of your shattered world and seen what they claimed to see: irreparable damage, a future foreclosed. That, my child, was your Gethsemane, your walk through the valley of deepest shadow, where every familiar landmark disappeared. And the only certainty seemed to be the crushing weight of the end. But I was with you, not as a distant observer, but as the very breath that sustained you when you thought you could not draw another. I was the flicker of warmth in the coldest night, the silent whisper that said, "Hold on," even when every fiber of your being screamed to let go. I was the invisible hand catching your tears, each one precious to me, each one cataloged not as a symbol of defeat, but as a sacred offering of a heart that had dared to love, dared to hope, dared to live fully. They cataloged your losses meticulously: the relationship that ended, the dream that crumbled, the health that faltered, the security that vanished. They built a monument to your pain with their words, stone upon heavy stone. This is what happens, their narrative implied, when one hopes too much, trusts too easily, flies too close to the sun. Their stories were meant to be cautionary tales, perhaps, but they served only to deepen the shadows around you, to bind you more tightly to the narrative of despair. But I, my beloved, I keep a different record, where they saw irretrievable loss. I saw a clearing being made, where they saw dreams turning to dust. I saw the sacred ground being prepared for the planting of something far more resilient, far more aligned with the deepest truths of your being. The things that were shaken, the things that fell away, were often the very things that were hindering the emergence of the truer, stronger you that I have always destined you to be. It was a painful stripping, yes, a brutal pruning, but it was done with the tender, knowing hands of the gardener who sees the rose in the unyielding thorn bush. Their understanding was bound by what they could see, by the evidence of the tangible world. They could not perceive the intricate, invisible work unfolding in the sanctuary of your soul. They could not hear the subtle frequency of my grace, harmonizing with the discordant notes of your grief. They could not feel the pulse of my unwavering purpose beating steadily beneath the chaotic rhythm of your circumstances. They saw only the surface, the ashes, the silence. They mistook the stillness of deep healing for the stillness of death. But I see beyond the veil of the temporal. I see the eternal spirit within you, the spark of my own divinity that can never be extinguished, only temporarily obscured. And it was to that spark, my child, that I ministered in the deepest hours of your night. It was that spark I fanned with the gentle breath of my promises, even when you were too weary to hear them. It was for that spark that I began to write your resurrection song, a melody of hope woven from the threads of despair, a symphony of strength composed from the shards of your brokenness. They may have turned away, convinced your story was over. They may have moved on, their attention drawn to newer, less sorrowful spectacles. But I remained. I have always remained. My gaze upon you has never wavered. My love for you has never diminished, not even by a shadow's breadth. While they were busy closing the book on your life, I was already turning the page, preparing to write a chapter so glorious, so filled with unexpected beauty, that it would astound not only them, but even you, my beloved child. The echo of desolation was loud. I know. It filled your ears and your heart. But beneath it, always beneath it, the first, faint notes of my song for you were already beginning to stir. The song of your unmaking, yes, but more profoundly, the song of your remaking, indeed. The echoes of desolation were loud, my child, a symphony of sorrow that threatened to drown out all else. But even as that cacophony raged, even as a dust of what was settled heavy upon your heart, my unseen hand was moving through the embers, performing a sacred alchemy that defied the very nature of destruction. You felt the scorching heat, the biting loss, the sharp edges of shattered dreams. You saw the ruin, the emptiness, the stark evidence of an end. But I, who see beyond the surfaces, I who inhabit the spaces between the atoms and the moments, I was engaged in a work of infinite tenderness, a meticulous gathering of all that truly mattered. Think of a master artisan, my beloved, faced with the remnants of a precious, shattered vessel, where others see only irreparable shards, fit only to be swept away and forgotten. The artisan sees the memory of its original beauty, the ghost of its form, and more importantly, the potential for a new creation, perhaps even more profound for having known brokenness. So it was with me and the fragments of your life, your spirit, your hope, with hands infinitely gentle, infinitely patient. I moved among the smoking ruins. I was not there to condemn the fire, for fire, in my economy, is often the fiercest agent of purification and change. I was there to redeem what the fire had touched, to reclaim what it had seemingly consumed. Each tear you shed, I collected as a pearl. Each sigh of despair, I gathered as a sacred breath. Each broken piece of your heart, I cradled with a reverence that understood its intrinsic worth. While the world offered condolences that often felt like eulogies, I was discerning the undiminished essence of you. They saw weakness in your weeping. I saw the strength of a spirit that dared to feel deeply. They saw surrender in your silence. I heard the quiet plea for my presence, a plea that never goes unanswered. They saw the ashes as a final state. I saw them as the very medium of your transformation, the raw material from which your resurrection would be sculpted. My hand, unseen by you in those moments of profound darkness, was a shield around the most vulnerable core of your being. When the winds of accusation howled, I was the unseen buffer. When the chill of isolation threatened to freeze your very soul, I was the imperceptible warmth, a current of love flowing steadfastly beneath the ice of your despair. I did not always intervene to calm the storm around you. For some storms, are necessary to clear the landscape, to wash away what is no longer needed, to reveal the bedrock of what is eternal. But I always worked within you, reinforcing your foundations, preserving the sacred seed of your true self, ensuring it would not be extinguished. Consider the meticulous care of a weaver restoring an ancient, priceless tapestry that has been ravaged by time and neglect. They do not simply discard the frayed threads or the faded colors. No, they study the original pattern. They honor the intention of the first maker, and with threads of gold, with strands of resilient silk, they begin the painstaking work of reweaving, of integrating the old with the new, until the tapestry emerges not just repaired, but often imbued with a depth and richness it did not possess before. My work within your embers was like that. My child, I was sifting through the experiences, the memories, the pain, and the joy. I was identifying the threads of gold, your courage, your love, your faith, however small it seemed to you then, and I was carefully, lovingly, beginning to weave them into the new design I had conceived for you, the design for your resurrection song. They looked at the disarray and saw chaos. I looked, and I saw the deconstruction necessary before a greater construction could begin, a building that cannot be truly fortified or beautifully reimagined if its compromised structures are merely patched over. Sometimes it must be brought down to its very foundations so that something truer, stronger, and more magnificent can rise in its place. The shaking in your life, the crumbling you experienced, was that profound, often terrifying, clearing. And my unseen hand was there, not causing the collapse, but ensuring that, in the midst of it, nothing of your eternal essence was lost. I was there, like an archaeologist sifting through ancient earth, preserving every artifact that spoke of your inherent divinity, every shard that held the light of your unique purpose. You could not feel me then, perhaps, in the way you once had. The din of your grief was too loud, the fog of your sorrow too thick. You reached out, and it might have felt as if you were grasping at smoke. But I was the very air you were breathing, the silent strength in your bones that kept you standing, or even just existing, one moment at a time. I was the subtle intelligence that guided you to seek shelter, even if that shelter was just a momentary retreat into the quiet of your own heart. My presence is not always a shout in the storm. My child, more often, it is the unwavering lighthouse beam, piercing the darkest night, a steadfast promise of a shore that exists, even when you cannot yet see it. The embers glowed with a dying light. It seemed to you, but for me, each ember held a spark of possibility. I fanned those sparks with the breath of my spirit. I whispered hope into the near cold ashes. I saw the potential for a new flame where you saw only the remnants of a conflagration. This is my divine prerogative, my sacred joy to bring beauty from ashes, strength from brokenness, life from what appears to be death. This is the very essence of resurrection. And so, my work was not one of mourning what was lost, but of diligently, purposefully, lovingly preparing the ground for what was to come. I preserved your sanity when it felt frayed beyond repair. I guarded the citadel of your heart when it was under siege. I held on to your hope for you, even when you yourself had let it go. believing it to be a foolish, irretrievable thing. My hand, I know, was there, steadying you when you stumbled, even if you attributed your recovery to some last reserve of your own strength, or to mere chance. Know this, beloved, there's no mere chance in a universe governed by my love. Every moment of reprieve, every flicker of resilience, every tiny step taken away from the abyss and towards the light was undergirded by my grace, sustained by my power, and orchestrated by my loving intention for you. They saw the field, barren and scorched after the fire. They shook their heads and walked away, muttering about the waste, the futility. They could not imagine that beneath that charred surface, the soil was being enriched in ways they could not comprehend. They did not understand the sacred cycle of death and rebirth that governs all of creation, from the smallest seed to the vastest galaxy and to the human soul. My unseen hand was tilling that soil, turning over the painful remnants, aerating it with my spirit, preparing it for the seed of your new beginning, the seed of your resurrection song. This work, this quiet stewardship in the heart of your desolation, was an act of profound faith. My faith in you, my faith in the resilience I wove into the very fabric of your being, my faith in the beauty of the song I knew you were destined to sing. While your faith may have wavered, mine never did. While your hope may have dimmed, mine burned with the fierce intensity of 1,000 suns, focused entirely on the glorious becoming that lay hidden within your season of ashes. I saw not who you were in that moment of devastation, but who you have always been in my heart, and who you are destined to become. And it was for that vision, that glorious resurrected you, that my unseen hand worked tirelessly in the embers, laying the foundation for the dawn that was surely coming. And so, my beloved, from that very place of ruin, from those embers where my unseen hand so diligently toiled, a new sound begins to emerge. It is not the echo of desolation you knew so intimately, nor is it the hollow silence that amplified your fears. It is something altogether different, something born of the alchemy between your deepest sorrow and my infinite love. This, my child, is the first stirring of your resurrection song, a melody forged not in spite of the fire, but because of it. Do not imagine this song as a flimsy tune, a superficial melody designed to merely cover over the scars of your past. Oh, no. This is no anesthetic for the soul, no forgetting of the journey that brought you to this point. The resurrection song I'm composing for you carries within its very structure the resonance of the flames, the texture of the ashes, the profound minor keys of your lament for true beauty, the beauty that endures, the beauty that has the power to heal not only you, but others, is never shallow. It is carved from the depths, polished by adversity, and given its most resonant voice by the very experiences that sought to silence you. Think of the blacksmith, my child, at the heart of the roaring forge. The fire is not his enemy, but his essential collaborator. He takes the raw, unyielding metal that might represent your own spirit, once hardened by pain or circumstance, and he thrusts it into the very heart of the flames. It is softened, made malleable, not to weaken it, but to prepare it for transformation. Then comes the hammer, blow after purposeful blow, shaping, refining, strengthening. To the uninitiated eye, it might seem a brutal process, but the blacksmith sees the emerging blade, the resilient tool, the work of art, each strike, each immersion in the fire contributes to its final, enduring strength and its unique character. So it is with the notes of your resurrection song. The moments of searing pain, they are the deep, resonant bass notes that give the melody its grounding, its gravitas. Without them, the song might be too light, too ethereal, lacking the power to connect with the true spectrum of life. The times of bewildering confusion, when you felt lost in a fog of unknowing, those translate into the complex harmonies. The unexpected modulations that speak of a journey through shadowlands, a wrestling with mysteries, making the song far richer and more intriguing than a simple, predictable tune. And the ashes, my beloved, those very ashes that seem to symbolize only loss and finality, they are woven into the song as a unique timbre, a smoky, poignant quality that speaks of resilience, of survival, of the profound beauty that can emerge when all seems lost. A voice that has known the taste of ashes sings with an authenticity, a compassion that a voice untouched by sorrow can never truly achieve. This song, your song, will carry that undeniable mark of one who has journeyed through the valley of the shadow and has emerged, not unscathed, but profoundly transformed, bearing a wisdom and a strength forged in the crucible. I am the composer, yes, but you, my child, you are the instrument, and your life experiences are the very notes I am weaving into this divine symphony. Do not despise the path you have walked. Do not look back upon the flames with only regret, for it was in that fire that impurities were burned away. It was in that fire that the superficial was consumed, leaving only the essential, the eternal, the true. It was in that fire that your spirit, like the finest steel, was tempered, gaining a resilience that will now serve you in ways you cannot yet imagine. This resurrection song is not a song of forgetting, but a song of transmuting. It does not deny the pain. It reclaims it, honors the courage it took to endure it, and then, with divine artistry, weaves it into a tapestry of sound that is both heartbreakingly beautiful and fiercely, triumphantly alive. It is a song that acknowledges the tomb, yes, but then sings with joyful defiance of the rolled away stone. It remembers the grave clothes, but celebrates the freedom of new vestments. Woven of light and strength, others may have expected you to emerge from your trials bitter, or broken beyond repair, or forever diminished. They may have anticipated a mournful dirge as your only lifelong accompaniment. That is the limit of their vision, constrained by what they have seen of the world's harshness. But my vision for you, my song for you, is one of resurrection, not a mere recovery, not a simple return to how things were before, but a genuine transformation into something more compassionate, more wise, more radiant, more aligned with the glorious being I created you to be. The melody I am writing is uniquely yours. It is not a generic hymn of hope, but a deeply personal anthem that resonates with the specific cadence of your soul, the particular trials you have faced, the unique strengths you have cultivated, often unknowingly. When this song begins to play more fully in your life, you will recognize it instantly, for it will feel like coming home to the truest part of yourself. Others, too, will hear it. They will be drawn to its unusual beauty, its authentic power, its quiet triumph, They will hear in it echoes of their own unspoken sorrows. And in your resurrection, they will glimpse the possibility of their own. This song is not born of ease, but of overcoming. Its power does not come from an absence of struggle, but from the presence of my grace transforming that struggle into strength. Every time you chose to take another breath, when despair urged you to give up, a note of courage was added. Every time you whispered a prayer, however faint, from the depths of your anguish, a chord of faith was struck. Every act of kindness you managed to offer, even when your own heart was breaking, contributed a harmony of selfless love. You were co-creating this song with me, my child, even in your darkest hours. Though you knew it not, the fire was intended by forces of shadow to consume you, to reduce you to nothing but a forgotten pile of ashes. That was their plan, their desired outcome. But they failed to reckon with me. They failed to understand that I can enter any furnace, any tomb, any desolate place, and bring forth life, beauty, and a song that confounds all expectations of destruction. They see a period of devastation. I see a fallow season where the ground is being prepared for an unprecedented harvest. They hear the crackling of flames. I hear the overture to your anthem. This resurrection song is not a lullaby to soothe you into passivity. It is a vibrant, dynamic call to life. It will have rhythms that make you want to dance, even if your feet still feel heavy from the journey. It will have melodies that lift your spirit, even if sorrow has long been your companion. It will have harmonies that speak of peace, even if chaos still whispers at the edges of your mind. It is a song of becoming, a song of stepping forth, a song that declares that the ashes were not your destiny, but merely the birthplace of your most powerful music. So listen, my beloved, even now, amidst the lingering echoes of what was, can you begin to hear it? A faint strain, perhaps, a subtle shift in the inner silence. It is the sound of my love for you, taking the broken pieces of your experience and forging them into a masterpiece. It is the sound of your own resilient spirit, beginning to harmonize with my eternal purpose. This melody, forged in the very heart of the fire that sought to destroy you, is the sacred sound of your becoming. It is my promise to you, being sung into existence. And so, my beloved, from that very place of ruin, from those embers where my unseen hands so diligently toiled, a new sound begins to emerge. It is not the echo of desolation you knew so intimately, nor is it the hollow silence that amplified your fears. It is something altogether different, something born of the alchemy between your deepest sorrow and my infinite love. This, my child, is the first stirring of your resurrection song, a melody forged not in spite of the fire, but because of it, a testament to a power that turns crucifixions into ascensions. Do not imagine this song as a flimsy tune, a superficial melody designed to merely cover over the scars of your past. Like a fresh coat of paint on a crumbling wall. Oh no, this is no anesthetic for the soul, no forgetting of the intricate, often agonizing journey that brought you to this point. The resurrection song I am composing for you carries within its very structure the resonance of the flames that licked at your resolve, the gritty texture of the ashes that choked your laughter, the profound minor keys of your most heartfelt lamentations, for true beauty, the beauty that endures, the beauty that has the power to heal not only you, but to ripple outwards, touching and awakening other weary souls. Is never shallow. It is carved from the depths of existence, polished by the relentless friction of adversity, and given its most resonant and compelling voice by the very experiences that sought to silence you, to erase your vibrant signature from the scroll of life. Think of the master blacksmith, my child, standing resolute at the heart of the roaring forge, a place of intense, almost unbearable heat. The fire is not his enemy, not a force to be vanquished, but his essential collaborator, a wild spirit he has learned to dance with. He takes the raw, unyielding metal that might represent your own spirit, once hardened by unacknowledged pain, or encased in the rust of past disappointments, or perhaps brittle from the shock of sudden loss, and he thrusts it into the very heart of the flames. It is softened there, made exquisitely malleable, not to weaken it, not to rob it of its inherent strength, but to prepare it for a profound transformation. Then comes the hammer, not wielded in anger or with punitive force, but with focused intention. Blow after purposeful blow, shaping, refining, strengthening, aligning the very molecules of its being. To the uninitiated eye, to one who does not understand the sacred art of the forge, it might seem a brutal, almost cruel process, but the blacksmith, his eyes alight with creative vision, sees the emerging blade, keen and true, the resilient tool, perfectly balanced for its purpose, the intricate work of art, bearing the marks of its fiery birth as badges of honor. Each strike of the hammer, each immersion in the cleansing fire, each plunge into the cooling waters, contributes to its final, enduring strength, its unique character, its ability to serve a purpose far grander than its original, unrefined state. So it is with the notes of your resurrection song, the moments of searing pain, the betrayals that tore at the fabric of your trust, the losses that left gaping voids in the landscape of your heart. They are the deep, resonant bass notes, the powerful cello strains that give the melody its grounding, its gravitas, its unshakable foundation in truth. Without them, the song might be too light, too ethereal, lacking the profound depth needed to connect with the full spectrum of human experience. The shared sorrow that binds humanity, the times of bewildering confusion, when you felt hopelessly lost in a fog of unknowing, stumbling through days and nights with no clear star to guide you. Those translate into the complex harmonies, the unexpected modulations, the poignant suspensions that speak of a journey through shadowlands, a wrestling with profound mysteries, making the song far richer, more textured, and more endlessly intriguing than a simple, predictable, one-dimensional tune. And the ashes, my beloved, those very ashes that seem to symbolize only absolute loss and irrevocable finality, they are not discarded. In my divine economy, nothing is ever wasted. They are gathered, blessed, and woven into the song as a unique timbre, a smoky, poignant quality that speaks with breathtaking eloquence of resilience, of survival against all odds, of the profound and often startling beauty that can emerge when all seems utterly lost. A voice that has known the taste of ashes, a spirit that has been stripped bare and yet chooses to rise, sings with an authenticity, a raw power, a profound compassion that a voice untouched by significant sorrow can never truly achieve. This song, your song, will carry that undeniable mark of one who has journeyed through the valley of the shadow of death and has emerged. Not unscathed, certainly, for the scars become part of the story, but profoundly transformed, bearing a wisdom and a strength forged in the crucible of suffering, a light that shines all the brighter for having known the darkness. I am the composer, yes, the divine maestro, but you, my child, you are the instrument, uniquely crafted, with your own specific resonances and tonalities, and your life experiences. All of them, the soaring joys and the crushing sorrows, the quiet moments of peace, and the raging storms of conflict, are the very notes I am weaving into this divine symphony. Do not despise the path you have walked, however thorny or desolate it may have seemed. Do not look back upon the flames with only regret or bitterness, for it was in that fire that impurities were burned away. The dross of illusion and self-deception, it was in that fire that the superficial attachments, the things you clung to that were not truly serving your soul's highest purpose, were consumed, leaving only the essential, the eternal, the true. It was in that fire that your spirit, like the finest Damascus steel, was folded and tempered, gaining a flexible resilience, an inner strength that will now serve you, and through you, many others, in ways you cannot yet fully imagine. This resurrection song is not a song of forgetting, nor is it a song of pretending that the wounds were not deep. It is a song of courageous transmuting. It does not deny the pain. It looks it squarely in the eye, acknowledges its reality, honors the courage it took you to endure it, and then, with divine artistry and infinite love, it reclaims that pain. It reframes it. It weaves it into a tapestry of sound that is both heartbreakingly beautiful in its vulnerability and fiercely, triumphantly alive in its ultimate victory. It is a song that acknowledges the tomb. Yes, the cold darkness of that enclosed space, but then sings with joyful, earth-shattering defiance of the rolled-away stone, the empty grave. It remembers the constricting grave clothes, the scent of myrrh and aloes, but celebrates the breathtaking freedom of new vestments, woven not of linen, but of pure, unadulterated light and unshakable strength. Others, looking from their limited vantage point, may have expected you to emerge from your trials bitter, or broken beyond repair, or forever diminished, a shadow of your former self. They may have anticipated a mournful dirge, a song of perpetual victimhood, as your only lifelong accompaniment. That is the limit of their vision, constrained by what they have seen of the world's harshness and its seemingly random cruelties. But my vision for you, my song for you, has always been, and will always be, one of resurrection, not a mere recovery, not a simple return to how things were before, for that would be to deny the transformative power of the journey itself, but a genuine quantum leap into something more compassionate because you have known suffering, more wise because you have wrestled with darkness, more radiant because you have allowed my light to heal your deepest wounds, more authentically and powerfully aligned with the glorious, unique being I created you to be from before the foundations of the world. The melody I am writing is uniquely yours, tailored to the specific contours of your soul. It is not a generic hymn of hope that could apply to anyone, but a deeply personal anthem that resonates with the specific cadence of your spirit, the particular trials you have faced and overcome, the unique strengths and gifts you have cultivated, often unknowingly, in the secret chambers of your heart. When this song begins to play more fully in your life, when its harmonies begin to permeate your consciousness, you will recognize it instantly, for it will feel like coming home to the truest, most authentic part of yourself, a self you may have forgotten or never fully known. Others, too, will hear it in your voice, see it in your eyes, feel it in your presence. They will be drawn to its unusual beauty, its authentic power, its quiet, unshakable triumph. They will hear in its complex strains echoes of their own unspoken sorrows, their own hidden longings, and in your resurrection, made audible and visible, they will glimpse the radiant possibility of their own. This song is not born of ease or comfort or a life sheltered from the storm. Its extraordinary power does not come from an absence of struggle, but from the undeniable presence of my grace consistently transforming that struggle into unimaginable strength, that darkness into a beacon. Every time you chose to take another breath, when despair urged you to give up and sink beneath the waves, a note of indomitable courage was added to the score. Every time you whispered a prayer, however faint, from the depths of your anguish, even a prayer that was simply my name, gasped into the void, a chord of unshakable faith was struck. Every act of kindness you managed to offer, every extension of compassion, even when your own heart was breaking and your resources felt utterly depleted, contributed a shimmering harmony of selfless, divine love. You were co-creating this song with me, my child, in your deepest, most unconscious alignment with my will, even in your darkest hours, though you knew it not at the time. You were living the notes before they were ever written down. The fire you endured, the crucible you passed through, was intended by forces of shadow, by the energies of fear and limitation, to consume you entirely, to reduce your vibrant spirit to nothing but a forgotten pile of cold ashes. That was their plan, their desired outcome, their bleak prophecy for your life. But they failed to reckon with me. They failed, as they always do, to understand that I can enter any furnace, any tomb, any desolate place where hope seems to have died, and bring forth abundant life, astonishing beauty, and a song so potent it confounds all expectations of destruction and rewrites every narrative of despair. They see a period of utter devastation. I see a necessary fallow season where the ground is being divinely prepared, enriched by the very ashes they despise, for an unprecedented harvest of joy and purpose. They hear the terrifying crackling of destructive flames. I hear the dramatic overture to your personal anthem of liberation. This resurrection song is not a gentle lullaby designed to soothe you into a state of passive slumber. It is a vibrant, dynamic, world-changing call to life. To your life, live fully, boldly, authentically. It will have rhythms that make you want to dance with abandon, even if your feet still feel heavy from the long and arduous journey. It will have soaring melodies that lift your spirit high above the clouds of past sorrows, even if sorrow has long been your unwelcome companion. It will have intricate harmonies that speak of a profound and resilient peace, a peace that passes all understanding, even if the echoes of chaos still whisper at the edges of your mind. It is a song of perpetual becoming, a song of stepping forth into the fullness of who you are, a song that declares with every note that the ashes were not your destiny, but merely the sacred, consecrated birthplace of your most powerful, life-giving music. So listen, my beloved, listen with the ears of your heart, beyond the noise of the world, beyond the lingering static of your own doubts. Even now, amidst the fading echoes of what was, can you begin to hear it, a faint strain, perhaps, a subtle shift in the inner silence, a delicate vibration in the atmosphere of your soul? It is the sound of my infinite, unconditional love for you, taking all the broken pieces of your experience, all the seemingly discordant notes of your suffering, and forging them into a masterpiece of divine artistry. It is the sound of your own resilient, beautiful spirit, beginning to harmonize more and more perfectly with my eternal purpose for your life. This melody, forged in the very heart of the fire that sought to destroy all that you were and all that you hope to be, is the sacred, undeniable sound of your becoming. It is my promise to you, being sung into glorious, vibrant existence. I know, my precious child, that amidst the forging of this resurrection song, there were seasons that felt profoundly, deafeningly silent, seasons where the vibrant presence you had once known seemed to recede like a distant tide, leaving you on a barren shore, questioning if I was still there, if I still cared, if my promises held any truth in the stark landscape of your reality. You cried out, and your words seemed to vanish into an unanswering expanse. You searched for a sign, a whisper, a touch, and often it felt as though you were met with an impenetrable stillness, a divine quietude that your wounded heart could only interpret as absence. Or worse, rejection. Understand this, beloved. My silence is never a withdrawal of my love. It is never an indication of my displeasure, nor is it a sign that I have turned my face from you. Sometimes, the deepest, most transformative work I do in a soul requires a sacred hush, a period where the outer voices, even my own manifest voice, must quieten so that the inner work can proceed undisturbed. Think of the deepest winter, my child. The world lies dormant beneath a blanket of snow, seemingly lifeless, silent, still. The vibrant songs of summer birds are gone. The lush greenery has vanished. To the untrained eye, it might appear as a time of death, of cessation, but beneath that frozen surface, unseen by the world, life is not extinguished. It is consolidating, gathering its strength, undergoing a vital period of rest and reconfiguration, preparing for the glorious outburst of spring. So it was with you in those seasons of perceived silence. Within you, I had planted a seed, the seed of your resurrection, the kernel of your new becoming. And seeds, my precious one, do not germinate in the harsh glare of continuous light or amidst constant activity. They require the darkness of the earth, the quiet, undisturbed solitude, the gentle, consistent pressure of the soil to crack open their hard shells and send forth their tender shoots. My silence was the protective darkness around your fragile, emerging newness. It was the rich, fertile soil holding you, nurturing the almost imperceptible stirrings of life deep within your spirit. Had I thundered my presence then, had I overwhelmed you with dramatic revelations, it might have been too much for that tender, nascent growth, the young shoot, emerging from the seed, is vulnerable. It needs time to establish its roots, to draw strength from the quiet earth before it is ready to break through the surface and face the full light of day. This silence was also a sacred space for healing the deepest wounds, wounds that could not be tended amidst the clamor of your everyday existence, or even the intensity of more overt spiritual encounters. Some injuries of the soul are so profound that they require the gentlest touch, the most profound quiet, to mend, like a patient in a deep state of recovery. Your spirit needed this period of profound rest, this sacred convalescence, where my presence was more like a constant, soothing balm than a dynamic, outward force. I was there as the stillness that allowed your frayed nerves to settle, as the quiet that permitted your exhausted spirit to finally breathe, as the gentle, unwavering warmth that slowly, meticulously, knitted together the broken places within you. You may have felt abandoned, but I was closer than your own breath, working in the deepest recesses of your being. My perceived silence was not an empty void, but a space pregnant with purpose, filled with my unspoken love, my unwavering intention for your wholeness. It was a time of profound internal alchemy, where the lead of your suffering was being slowly, painstakingly transformed into the gold of wisdom and resilience. This kind of transformation cannot be rushed. It cannot be forced. It unfolds at its own sacred pace in the hidden sanctuary of the soul, nurtured by a quiet, steadfast, divine presence. Consider the caterpillar in its chrysalis. To the outside world, all activity seems to cease. The vibrant, crawling creature disappears into a self-made tomb, a period of utter stillness and enclosure. If you were to impatiently tear open that chrysalis before its time, you would not find a beautiful butterfly ready to fly. You would destroy the very process of its miraculous transformation. My silence for you was like that sacred, protective chrysalis. Within it, a profound metamorphosis was taking place, and the dissolving of the old, a forming of the new. It was a vulnerable, mysterious process, one that required absolute protection from premature exposure, from the well-meaning but potentially disruptive interventions of the world, even from your own understandable desire for immediate answers and invisible progress. I know the pain of that waiting, the ache of that perceived distance. It is a profound test of faith, a journey through the dark night of the soul that many of my most beloved children experience. It is in this seeming absence that faith is purified, stripped of its reliance on external reassurances, and driven to find its anchor on the deepest, most unshakable knowing of my unchanging nature, even when all outward signs seem to contradict it. You learn to listen in a different way during that time. Did you not? You began to discern the subtler whispers of my spirit, not in the grand pronouncements, but in the unexpected moment of peace, the sudden surge of unbidden strength, the intuitive knowing that guided your next small step. This silence also served to draw out of you a strength you did not know you possessed. When the external voice quietens, the inner voice must learn to speak with greater clarity. You are forced to dig deeper into your own reserves, to find my presence imprinted on your own soul, rather than looking for it solely outside yourself. This was not a punishment, but a profound empowerment. I was teaching you to recognize my indwelling spirit, to trust the wisdom I have placed within you, to become a more active co-creator in your own unfolding. A child who is always carried will never learn to walk with strength and confidence. There are times when the loving parent must step back slightly, offering unseen support, so the child can discover its own capacity for balance and movement. Furthermore, this period of quiet gestation was essential for the depth and richness of your resurrection song. A melody composed only of triumphant, sunlit notes can lack the resonance that touches the deepest parts of the human heart. It is the inclusion of the shadowed valleys, the quiet interludes, the moments of searching and longing that give a symphony its profound emotional power. Your experience of my silence and your faithful endurance through it has added these very notes of depth, introspection, and unshakable faith to your song. It has given it a wisdom that can only be born from navigating the mysteries, from trusting in the unseen. The world rushes. My child, it demands constant noise, instant results, perpetual outward motion. But the kingdom of heaven, the realm of true spiritual growth, operates on different rhythms. It honors the fallow seasons, the sacred pauses, the long, slow unfurling of a soul's deepest potential. My silence was an invitation to step out of the world's frantic pace and into my eternal rhythm, a rhythm that understands the necessity of winter for the blossoming of spring, the value of darkness for the appreciation of light, the power of silence for the birth of the most beautiful sound. Do not look back on those times of silence as periods where your growth stalled or where I forgot you. See them now through my eyes as times of profound, hidden activity, of sacred incubation, of deep rooting. The strength of a great tree is not just in its visible branches, reaching for the sky, but equally in its unseen root system, anchoring it deep within the earth, drawing nourishment from the quiet darkness. Your roots grew deep during that silent season, my beloved. They burrowed down past the superficial layers of understanding, past the shifting sands of emotion, and found their purchase in the bedrock of my unchanging love and eternal truth. This silence was my way of protecting the sacred work I was doing within you. It was my way of saying, be still, my child, and know that I am God. Be still and allow this miracle to unfold within you in its own perfect time, in its own perfect way. And now, as the first notes of your resurrection song begin to become more audible, you will understand that the silence was not an ending, but an integral part of the music, the fertile pause that gave birth to a melody of unimaginable strength and beauty. The seed has been nurtured. The roots have taken hold. And soon, very soon, you will see what glorious life emerges from the sacred, silent ground. And now, my beloved child, after the deep quiet of the nurturing earth, after the sacred stillness where the seed of your becoming was so tenderly held, can you feel it? A subtle shift in the inner atmosphere, a gentle stirring where before there was only the heavy slumber of sorrow or the restless ache of waiting. This, my precious one, is the dawn, not yet the full blaze of noon, not yet the complete unfolding of the flower, but the undeniable, delicate, and infinitely hopeful first blush of light upon the eastern horizon of your soul. This is the first note of your resurrection song, no longer a silent composition in my heart alone, but now a sound, however faint, beginning to vibrate within the very fibers of your being. Remember the oppressive weight that seemed to settle upon your spirit, the cloak of gray that colored your every perception. Notice now, if you will, those moments, fleeting, perhaps at first, where that weight feels infinitesimally lighter, a breath drawn with a little less effort, a brief window where the constant monologue of anxiety quiets, and a sliver of unexpected peace, like a shy sunbeam through dense clouds, touches your mind. These are not illusions, my child. These are not mere wishful thinking. These are the authentic heralds of my new day dawning within you. The first dewdrops of grace upon the parched landscape of your heart. It might be as simple as an unexpected appreciation for a small beauty you had long ceased to notice, the intricate pattern of a leaf, the song of a distant bird, the way the light catches a raindrop. It could be a sudden, inexplicable surge of warmth towards another, a flicker of the empathy that you feared had been extinguished by your own pain. Or perhaps it's a fleeting memory of joy, not as a source of fresh grief for what was lost, but as a gentle reminder of what is possible, a soft whisper that happiness is not an alien country from which you have been permanently exiled. These are the tender shoots emerging from the seed we nurtured together in the silence. Do not dismiss them because of their smallness. The grandest oak begins as the most unassuming acorn. The most glorious dawn begins with the faintest diffusion of light. This is your heartbeat, anew, not the frantic, fearful pounding that accompanied your nights of terror, nor the dull, leaden thud of despair, but a new rhythm, steadier, calmer, infused with a quiet, nascent hope. It is my spirit breathing life into yours, synchronizing your inner pulse with the timeless rhythm of eternal love and renewal. You may not even be fully conscious of it at first, but others, those with discerning hearts, might notice a subtle change in your countenance, a softening around your eyes, a faint luminosity where before there was only shadow. This is the light of your emerging resurrection, beginning to shine from within. The resurrection song, in these initial stages, is not a loud fanfare. Its first notes are often subtle, like the quiet melody of a hidden stream, audible only to those who learn to listen with the ear of the heart. It might come as a sudden intuitive insight, a solution to a problem that seemed insurmountable, appearing gently in your mind as if a feather had drifted down from heaven. It might manifest as a newfound ability to release a small resentment, to offer forgiveness where before there was only bitterness, to feel a tiny spark of desire to re-engage with life, even in a very small way. These are the opening bars of your personal anthem, composed by me, played upon the renewed strings of your heart. Do not be discouraged if the old echoes of desolation still try to make themselves heard, if shadows still attempt to lengthen in the corners of your mind. Dawn is a gradual unfolding, not an instant transformation. There is a period where the light and the lingering darkness coexist, where the old narratives of fear and the new song of hope sometimes create a temporary dissonance. This is natural. This is part of the process of waking from a long and troubled sleep. Be patient with yourself, my beloved. Extend to your own unfolding the same tenderness I have always extended to you. This new stirring within you is precious, and like all new life, it is also vulnerable. Nurture it, protect it from the harsh winds of cynicism, whether your own or that of others who are still attuned only to the frequency of despair. Seek out what nourishes this fledgling hope. Spend time in quiet contemplation, allowing these first notes to become clearer, stronger. Surround yourself, as much as possible, with influences that resonate with this emerging melody of life, with nature, with gentle beauty, with souls who can affirm and support your healing journey, even if they do not fully understand its depths, the weariness you carried for so long, a burden that felt as if it were fused to your very bones, may begin to lessen its grip, almost imperceptibly at first. You might find yourself sleeping a little more soundly, the tormenting dreams receding. You might wake one morning and realize that the first thought in your head was not one of dread, but perhaps one of neutral observation, or even wonder of wonders, a gentle curiosity about the day. This is the frost beginning to thaw from the ground of your being. This is the sap beginning to rise in the seemingly lifeless branches. My hand, which worked unseen in the embers, is now gently coaxing forth this new life. I am the divine gardener, and I rejoice over every tiny sign of growth. I do not despise the day of small beginnings, for I know that within the smallest seed of hope lies the blueprint for a magnificent blossoming. Your part, my child, is to tend this emerging garden within you with care and attention. Water it with moments of gratitude, however small. Weed out the persistent thoughts of negativity as they arise, not with harsh self-judgment, but with gentle, firm redirection towards the new song I am singing within you. This renewal is not something you have to strive for, to achieve through sheer force of will. It is an organic unfolding, a natural consequence of the deep, silent work that has been done and continues to be done within you by my grace. Your effort lies more in allowing, in receiving, in creating a welcoming space for this new life to take root and flourish. It is about learning to trust these subtle shifts, to honor these first tender notes, to believe in the promise of the dawn, even when the sun is not yet fully visible. The first bird of morning does not wait for the entire sky to be ablaze with light before it begins its song. It sings in response to the very first, faintest promise of the day. Be like that bird, my beloved. Let your spirit begin to sing its own quiet song in response to these first stirrings of my light within you. This song, your song, is a song of resilience. It carries the memory of the night, but it is not defined by it. Instead, it rises to greet the dawn, its voice perhaps a little tremulous at first, but gaining strength and clarity with each passing moment. This nascent joy, this fragile peace, this emerging hope, they are more powerful than you can imagine. They are the first fruits of your resurrection, the tangible evidence that even after the most devastating fire, life not only returns, but can return with a new and deeper beauty. Embrace these gifts, my child. Cherish them. They are the whispers of my love, made manifest in your healing. They are the proof that beneath the ashes, I was indeed writing your resurrection song, and now its melody is beginning to breathe. Its rhythm is starting to beat in sacred synchronicity with your own awakening heart. And now, my beloved child, after the deep insulating quiet of the nurturing earth, after the sacred, restorative stillness, where the seed of your becoming was so tenderly held and meticulously prepared. Can you begin to feel it? A subtle, almost imperceptible shift in the inner atmosphere of your soul. A gentle stirring in the depths, where before there was only the heavy, unyielding slumber of sorrow or the restless, agitated ache of prolonged waiting. This, my precious one, is the dawn, not yet the full, triumphant blaze of noon, not yet the complete, fragrant unfolding of the rose in its summer glory, but the undeniable, delicate, and infinitely hopeful first blush of nascent light upon the eastern horizon of your inner world. This is the first audible note of your resurrection song, no longer a silent, intricate composition held only within my omniscient heart and mind, but now a discernible sound, however faint and fragile at first, beginning to vibrate with gentle insistence within the very fibers of your renewed being. Remember the oppressive, suffocating weight that seemed to settle upon your spirit like a leaden shroud, the pervasive cloak of muted gray that colored your every perception, draining the vibrancy from your world. Notice now, if you will, those moments, fleeting perhaps at first, easily dismissed if you are not listening with attuned attention, where that overwhelming weight feels infinitesimally lighter. A single breath drawn with a little less conscious effort, a moment of unconscious ease, a brief, unexpected window in time where the constant, chattering monologue of anxiety mercifully quiets, and a sliver of unbidden, unexpected peace, like a shy, it is tentative sunbeam bravely piercing through a dense canopy of storm clouds, softly touches your mind, your heart. These are not illusions, my child, born of desperation. These are not mere wishful thinking, the fantasies of a spirit starved for comfort. These are the authentic, divinely sent heralds of my new day dawning within you. The first precious dewdrops of restorative grace upon the long parched landscape of your tender heart. It might be as simple, as unassuming, as an unexpected, spontaneous appreciation for a small, everyday beauty that you had long ceased to notice in your preoccupation with pain, the intricate, miraculous pattern of a single fallen leaf, the surprisingly resilient song of a distant bird piercing the urban clamor, the ephemeral way the afternoon light catches and refracts through a droplet of morning rain. It could manifest as a sudden, inexplicable surge of warmth and empathy towards another being, human or animal, a flicker of the profound compassion that you feared had been utterly extinguished by the intensity of your own prolonged suffering. Or perhaps it's a fleeting, poignant memory of a past joy, surfacing not as a source of fresh, stabbing grief for what was irrevocably lost, but as a gentle, reassuring reminder of what is possible, a soft, hopeful whisper from your deeper self that happiness is not an alien country from which you have been permanently and cruelly exiled. These, my beloved, are the tender green shoots, the first visible signs of life, emerging from the precious seed we nurtured together in the sacred. Potent silence. Do not dismiss them because of their apparent smallness or their initial fragility. The grandest, most majestic oak tree, whose branches reach towards the heavens and whose roots grip the earth with unshakable tenacity, begins its journey as the most unassuming, humble acorn, the most glorious, breathtaking dawn, which sets the entire sky ablaze with color and promise, begins with the faintest, most subtle diffusion of primordial light. This, my child, is a sensation of your heartbeat, anew, not the frantic, fearful, irregular pounding that often accompanied your nights of terror and your days of anxious dread, nor the dull, heavy, leaden thud that echoed the profound despair in your soul. But a new rhythm is emerging, steadier, calmer, infused with a quiet, nascent hope, a gentle yet persistent life force. It is my spirit breathing life directly into your spirit, tenderly, patiently, coaxing your inner pulse to synchronize with the timeless, healing rhythm of eternal love and constant renewal. You may not even be fully conscious of this subtle shift at first, attributing it to other, more mundane causes. But others, those with discerning hearts and sensitive spirits who truly see you, might begin to notice a subtle change in your countenance, a softening around your eyes, a faint, almost imperceptible luminosity where before there was only the dull shadow of enduring pain. This is the gentle light of your emerging resurrection, beginning to shine from within, a candle relit in the deepest sanctuary of your being. The resurrection song, in these initial, delicate stages of its unfolding, is not a loud, brassy fanfare demanding attention. Its first precious notes are often exquisitely subtle, like the quiet, intimate melody of a hidden woodland stream, its music audible only to those who learn to listen with the ear of the heart, with stillness and with reverence. It might come as a sudden, unexpected, intuitive insight, a clear and simple solution to a problem that had seemed hopelessly complex and insurmountable, appearing gently and fully formed in your mind as if a single, perfect feather had drifted down from the heavens, carrying a message directly from me. It might manifest as a newfound, surprising ability to release a small, cherished resentment, to offer a word of genuine forgiveness, where before there was only the bitter taste of unresolved anger, to feel a tiny, hesitant spark of desire to re-engage with life, even in a very small, tentative way, perhaps accepting a long-avoided invitation, or picking up a creative tool left untouched for months or years. These are the opening bars of your personal anthem of victory, composed by me from the depths of my love for you, played upon the newly restrung and lovingly tuned strings of your courageous heart. Do not be discouraged or disheartened. My beloved, if the old familiar echoes of desolation still try to make themselves heard from time to time, if shadows from the past still attempt to lengthen and reclaim territory in the corners of your mind, particularly when you are tired or feeling vulnerable, dawn is a gradual, graceful unfolding, not an instant, jarring transformation. There's always a period, a liminal space, where the emerging light and the lingering darkness coexist, where the old, ingrained narratives of fear and limitation and the new, liberating song of hope sometimes create a temporary, unsettling dissonance. This is entirely natural. This is an integral part of the sacred process of waking from a long and troubled sleep, of slowly reacclimatizing to the light. Be infinitely patient and compassionate with yourself. My beloved, extend to your own precious, unfolding being the same boundless tenderness and unconditional acceptance that I have always and will always extend to you. This new stirring of life within you is immeasurably precious, and like all new life, it is also inherently vulnerable in its early stages, Nurture it as you would the most delicate seedling. Protect it fiercely from the harsh, cynical winds of doubt. Whether those winds originate from your own conditioned mind or from the unconscious projections of others who are still attuned only to the frequency of despair and limitation. Seek out, consciously and intentionally, whatever nourishes this fledgling hope, this tender bloom. Spend regular time in quiet contemplation, in receptive stillness, allowing these first ethereal notes of your song to become clearer, stronger, more resonant within you. Surround yourself as much as possible with influences that harmonize with this emerging melody of life, with the healing beauty of nature, with gentle, uplifting art and music, with souls who can affirm and support your healing journey with understanding and love, even if they do not fully comprehend the profound depths from which you are ascending, the profound, soul-deep weariness you carried for so long, a burden that felt at times as if it were fused to your very bones, an inseparable part of your identity, may begin to lessen its tenacious grip, almost imperceptibly at first. You might find yourself sleeping a little more soundly. The tormenting, recurring dreams that haunted your nights beginning to recede, replaced by moments of genuine, restorative rest. You might wake one morning and realize, with a sense of quiet surprise, that the very first thought in your head was not one of dread or apprehension about the coming day, but perhaps one of neutral observation, or even wonder of wonders, a gentle, childlike curiosity about what the day might hold. This, my child, is the frost beginning to thaw from the frozen ground of your being. This is the life-giving sap beginning to rise once more in the seemingly lifeless branches of your tree of life. My hand, which worked unseen yet ceaselessly in the embers of your desolation, is now gently, lovingly coaxing forth this new and sacred life. I am the divine gardener, and I rejoice with an infinite joy over every tiny sign of growth, every new leaf, every hesitant bud. I do not despise the day of small beginnings, for I know that within the smallest, most insignificant seeming seed of hope lies the perfect, complete blueprint for a magnificent, unparalleled blossoming. Your part, my child, in this sacred collaboration is to tend this emerging inner garden with conscious care and devoted attention. Water it daily with moments of authentic gratitude. However small the blessings may seem, weed out the persistent, invasive thoughts of negativity and fear as they arise, not with harsh self-judgment or internal conflict, but with gentle, firm redirection towards the new song of love and truth that I am ceaselessly singing within you. This glorious renewal is not something you have to strive for with gritted teeth, to achieve through sheer, exhausting force of will. It is, in its essence, an organic, graceful unfolding, a natural and inevitable consequence of the deep, silent, transformative work that has been done and continues to be done within the sacred recesses of your being by my infinite, all-powerful grace. Your effort, if it can be called that, lies more in the realm of allowing, of yielding, of receiving with an open heart, of consciously creating a welcoming, hospitable space within yourself for this new life to take root deeply and flourish abundantly. It is about learning to trust these subtle, internal shifts, to honor these first tender, exquisite notes of your unique song, to believe in the unfailing promise of the dawn, even when the sun is not yet fully visible above the horizon. The first brave bird of morning does not wait for the entire sky to be ablaze with the full light of day before it begins its joyful, hopeful song. It sings with unwavering faith in response to the very first, faintest, most delicate promise of the approaching day. Be like that bird, my beloved. Let your spirit begin to sing its own quiet, courageous song in response to these first stirrings of my eternal light within you. This song, your song, is a song of profound resilience, a song of quiet victory. It carries the memory of the long, dark night. Yes, but it is not defined or imprisoned by it. Instead, it rises to greet the dawn, its voice perhaps a little tremulous and uncertain at first, but gaining strength, clarity, and joyful confidence with each passing moment, with each new sunrise. This nascent joy, this fragile yet tenacious peace, this emerging, unquenchable hope, they are more powerful than you can currently imagine. My child, they are the first fruits of your complete resurrection, the tangible, undeniable evidence that even after the most devastating, all-consuming fire, life not only returns, but can return with a new and deeper beauty, a more profound wisdom, a more compassionate heart. Embrace these precious gifts. My child, cherish them, guard them, nurture them. They are the articulate whispers of my unending love for you, made manifest in your ongoing healing and renewal. They are the irrefutable proof that beneath the ashes, I was indeed faithfully, lovingly writing your resurrection song. And now, its divine melody is beginning to breathe with your breath. Its sacred rhythm is starting to beat with your own awakening. Resurrected heart, imperfect, sacred synchronicity. My beloved child, as the dawn of your new day gathers strength, as the initial, tender notes of your resurrection song become more consistent, more discernible within your soul, a new invitation unfolds before you. It is the call to consciously arise and walk into this new rhythm, to actively participate in the glorious unfolding of your restored life. The time of passive waiting in the darkness, of silent endurance in the crucible, is drawing to a close. Now begins the sacred dance of co-creation, where my melody and your movement become one. This is not a path you must find or forge on your own, stumbling in uncertainty. The rhythm itself will guide you, if you learn to attune your heart to its cadence. This resurrection rhythm is the very pulse of my love for you, the beat of my eternal purpose, now made manifest in your life. How do you hear it? How do you align your steps with its sacred measure? Firstly, my child, cultivate the art of deep listening, not merely with your physical ears, but with the ears of your spirit, the quiet, receptive chambers of your innermost being. The song I'm singing over you, the song that is you, in your truest essence, often speaks in whispers, in gentle nudges, in intuitive knowings that rise from a place deeper than thought. It speaks in the quiet peace that settles upon you when you contemplate a certain path, or the subtle unease that cautions you away from another. It communicates through the unexpected desires that begin to surface in your heart. Desires not for the fleeting distractions of the world, but for authentic connection, for creative expression, for service, for a life lived with meaning and joy. Learn to honor these inner movements. They are the choreography of grace, inviting you to step and leap and soar As you begin to hear this rhythm more clearly, you will be invited to shed the garments of your former existence, the grave clothes that still cling to you from your season in the tomb. These are not merely physical remnants, but the outdated beliefs, the limiting narratives, the identities forged in pain that no longer serve the resurrected you. Remember how they defined you, how the world defined you, by your wounds, by your losses. Those definitions were the heavy, constricting burial cloths. Now, with gentle intention, with loving resolve, it is time to unwind them, to let them fall away. The identity of victim, for instance, however valid it may have felt in the depths of your suffering, cannot accompany you into the fullness of your resurrected life. It is a garment too small, too constricting for the expansive being you are becoming. To release it is not to deny the reality of your pain, but to refuse to allow that pain to be the defining characteristic of your present and your future. Your resurrection song acknowledges the suffering as we have spoken, but it transforms it into a source of strength and compassion, not a perpetual anchor to the past. Each time, you consciously choose a thought of hope over a thought of despair. Each time you respond with love where bitterness once resided. You are loosening those grave clothes. The fear that became your constant companion in the darkness, this too is a garment to be shed. It served a purpose once. Perhaps, as an alarm system in a season of genuine threat. But to carry it into the dawn of your new life is like wearing heavy armor on a bright spring morning. It will weigh you down. It will obscure your vision. It will prevent you from feeling the warmth of the sun upon your skin. Walking in your resurrection rhythm means learning to trust again, to trust me, to trust the goodness of life that is reemerging, and, crucially, to trust yourself, the resilient, transformed self that I have nurtured within you. This trust is the counter melody to fear, and with each step taken in trust, the grip of fear lessens. And what of the sorrow? The grief that carved its pathways so deeply into your heart, my child. Grief is a sacred process, a testament to love. It is not something to be hurriedly discarded or repressed. Yet, there comes a time in the resurrection rhythm when the raw, all-consuming nature of acute grief begins to transform. It softens. It mellows. It integrates into the deeper wisdom of your soul. It becomes not a constant source of fresh pain, but a poignant reminder of love's enduring power, a wellspring of empathy for others who walk similar paths. Allowing this transformation is part of shedding the grave clothes. It is not about forgetting those you have loved and lost, but about carrying their memory forward in a way that affirms life, not diminishes it. Your resurrection song holds the love, but it releases the agony. As you shed these old coverings, you create space to be clothed anew. And what are these new garments I offer you? They are woven from light, from strength, from joy, from purpose. They are the garments of your true, authentic self, the self I have always seen, even when it was obscured by ashes and sorrow. To put them on means to embrace the fullness of who you are now becoming. It means daring to dream again. Not necessarily the same dreams as before, but new dreams. Dreams born from the wisdom of your journey. Dreams that align with the unique notes of your song. Walking in your resurrection rhythm invites you to step out, to re-engage with the world, but from a new center of gravity. You are no longer defined by your wounds, but by your healing. You are no longer a prisoner of your past, but a pioneer of your future. This may feel daunting at first. The tomb, for all its darkness, can become a strangely familiar, almost comfortable place. Stepping into the light, into the vastness of new possibilities, requires courage. But you are not alone. I walk with you in every beat of this new rhythm. My strength is yours. My wisdom guides you. Listen for the opportunities that begin to present themselves, often in unexpected ways. They may seem small at first, insignificant even. A chance to offer a kind word, an invitation to learn something new, an opening to share a small part of your story, a nudge to forgive an old hurt. These are the stepping stones I place before you. Do not despise them. Each one is an opportunity to practice walking in your new rhythm, to embody the spirit of your resurrection song. Be mindful of your energy. My child, the old life drained you, depleted you. This new life, lived in alignment with your song, will energize you, inspire you, even as it asks new things of you. Learn to discern what activities, what relationships, what environments resonate with this new rhythm, and which ones pull you back towards the old, discordant frequencies of fear and limitation. It is an act of profound self-love and an honoring of my work within you, to consciously choose that which nurtures your resurrected spirit. There will be moments of hesitation, moments where the old fears resurface, where the path ahead seems unclear. In those moments, pause, breathe, reattune yourself to the inner melody. Place your hand upon your heart and feel that new, steadier beat. That is my presence, my reassurance. You do not need to have all the answers. You only need to take the next indicated step, guided by the rhythm of my love. The song itself will illuminate the way. One note, one phrase at a time. This walking into your resurrection rhythm is also about expression. Your song is not meant to remain a silent melody within your own heart. It is meant to be sung, to be lived, to be shared in ways that are unique to you. For some, this may mean literal creative expression, art, music, writing. For others, it may be expressed in the way they love, the way they work, the way they care for others, the quiet radiance of their transformed presence. Do not compare your expression to anyone else's. Your song has its own unique key, its own unique beauty. Your task is simply to allow it to flow through you authentically. Remember, the Israelites, after their liberation from bondage, had to learn to walk as free people. They had to unlearn the habits of slavery, the mindset of captivity. They had to learn to trust the pillar of fire by night and the cloud by day. Your journey from the ashes into resurrection is a similar liberation. It requires a conscious unlearning of old patterns and a courageous learning of new ways of being, thinking, and living, all guided by the discernible rhythm of my presence. Let your prayer now be one of active listening and responsive movement. Lord, what is the note you would have me sing today? What is the step you would have me take in this new rhythm you have established in my soul? And then listen, wait, and be prepared to move when the inner prompting comes. Sometimes the guidance will be to act. Other times, it will be to rest, to receive, to simply be. Both are part of the divine dance. The grave clothes are fallen away. My beloved, the light is upon your face. The path of your resurrected life unfolds before you, not as a harsh, demanding obligation, but as a joyous, sacred adventure. Take my hand, feel the pulse of my love. Let us walk this rhythm together, step by resonant step, into the fullness of the life for which you were created. And now, so beautifully, reborn, my cherished child, as you learn to walk more confidently in your resurrection rhythm, as the grave clothes of the past fall away, and you embrace the radiant garments of your true self, something truly magnificent begins to happen. The song I have written within you, the melody forged in the fires of your trials, and nurtured in the sacred silence, starts to reveal its inherent power, a power that extends far beyond the boundaries of your own healing, reaching out to touch and transform the world around you in ways you may never fully comprehend. This resurrection song was never intended to be a private recital, a melody enjoyed only in the solitary chambers of your own heart. No, my beloved, it is an anthem designed to be heard, a symphony meant to resonate in the lives of others. Your very life, marked by the profound journey from the ashes to this dawning light, becomes a living testimony, a vibrant witness to my restorative power, my unwavering love, and the undeniable reality of resurrection. You become a story, not of unbroken success or effortless perfection, but a profound, courageous, grace-filled transformation. And it is these stories, these authentic human journeys from brokenness to beauty, that hold the most potent medicine for a hurting world. Think of yourself as a lighthouse, my child. For a long season, your own light may have felt extinguished, your tower battered by relentless storms. But through the deep work we have done together, your lamp has been rekindled, not with a fragile, flickering flame, but with a steady, brilliant beacon, fueled by the very oil of my spirit. And now, from your unique place on the coastline of humanity, your light begins to shine out into the darkness. Other souls, lost in their own tempests, navigating their own treacherous waters of despair, will see your light. They may not even know it is your light they are seeing, but its presence will offer them a glimmer of hope, a point of orientation, a silent promise that a shore exists, that the storm does not have the final say. The power of your song, my child, lies in its authenticity, because you have known the depths of the ashes, because you have wrestled with the shadows, because you bear the sacred scars of your healing. Your melody carries a resonance of truth that cannot be faked or imitated. When you speak of hope, it will not be the shallow optimism of one who has never truly suffered. It will be the hard-won, resilient hope of a survivor, a thriver, one who has looked into the abyss and has chosen, with my help, to turn toward the light. When you offer compassion, it will not be a detached pity, but a deep, empathetic understanding born from your own intimate acquaintance with pain. This authenticity is a divine frequency that bypasses the intellect and speaks directly to the heart of another. Do not imagine that you must now embark on some grand, orchestrated mission to save others. The most profound unveiling of your song's power often occurs in the simplest, most unassuming ways. Through the quiet radiance of your transformed being. It is in the way you now meet the gaze of another with a newfound softness in your eyes. It is in the patience you extend where before there was only irritation. It is in the unexpected word of encouragement you offer, born from the wellspring of your own hard-won peace. It is in the very atmosphere of hope that begins to surround you. An invisible yet palpable aura that offers solace and reassurance to those who come into your presence. Your healed presence becomes a healing presence. Your inner peace becomes an outward balm. Consider the ripple effect of a single stone dropped into a still pond. The initial impact may seem small, but the concentric circles expand outwards, touching every part of the water's surface. So it is with a resurrected life. As you live more fully from your authentic, healed center, as you allow your unique song to flow through you, you initiate ripples of grace, healing, and hope that extend into your family, your friendships, your workplace, your community, and even beyond, in ways you may never consciously track. An act of kindness you perform, inspired by your own transformation, may inspire another to do the same. A moment of vulnerability where you share a fragment of your journey may give another the courage to face their own truth. The peace you cultivate within yourself may contribute to a more peaceful atmosphere in your home or among your colleagues. This power is not something you possess or wield in your own strength. My child, that would be a heavy burden indeed. Rather, it is my power flowing through you as you become a clearer, more open channel for my love and light. Your willingness to do your own inner work, to face your own shadows, to embrace your own healing, is what clears that channel. The more authentically you inhabit your resurrected self, the more effortlessly my grace can move through you to touch the lives of others. It is not about striving to be a beacon. It is about being the beacon that I have already made you. Your story, the narrative of your journey from the ashes, becomes a powerful form of medicine for a world sick with despair and cynicism. When others see that it is possible to walk through the fiercest fires and emerge not consumed, but refined, when they witness that it is possible to endure profound loss and yet rediscover joy, when they feel the undeniable strength and compassion that radiates from a heart that has been broken and then mended by divine hands, it ignites a spark of possibility within their own souls. It challenges the narratives of hopelessness that may have imprisoned them. Your life becomes a permission slip for them to believe in their own potential for healing and transformation. This does not mean you will no longer face challenges, or that you will have all the answers for others. The resurrected life is not a life free from human struggle, but a life lived with a new capacity to meet that struggle with grace, wisdom, and an unshakable reliance on my presence. Your power lies not in having a perfect life, but in having a real life, a life that honestly reflects the journey of wrestling with darkness and choosing, again and again, to align with the light. Embrace this sacred responsibility, not as a weight, but as a joyous privilege, to know that your own healing contributes to the healing of the collective, to understand that your personal song harmonizes with the grand symphony of cosmic redemption. This is a profound gift. It gives an even deeper meaning and purpose to all that you have endured. The ashes were not just for your refinement. They were also the ground from which a healing balm for many would spring as you continue to walk in your resurrection rhythm. Be open to the ways I may call you to share the gifts that have been awakened in you. It may be through your innate talents, now infused with new depth and purpose. It may be through a newfound ability to listen with profound empathy. It may be through simply living your ordinary life with extraordinary love and courage. Trust the nudges of my spirit when an opportunity arises to offer comfort, to speak truth, to extend compassion, to share hope. Do so with the quiet confidence that it is not you alone who are acting, but my spirit flowing through you. The song of your life is now a vital instrument in my orchestra of global awakening. Each note of courage, each harmony of love, each rhythm of resilience that you embody contributes to the overall masterpiece I am composing for humanity. Your individual resurrection is a fractal of the larger resurrection I desire for all my children and for the entire earth. Never underestimate the power of your single. Transform life. A single candle can illuminate a vast darkness. A single voice singing truth can awaken a sleeping choir. The unveiling of your song's power is a gradual, ongoing revelation. It will unfold in surprising and beautiful ways as you continue to live authentically, to love generously, and to walk faithfully in the rhythm I have set before you. Rejoice in this, my beloved. Your journey through the ashes has prepared you to be a potent vessel of my light and my love in a world that so desperately needs both. Your resurrection song is not just your healing. It is a healing gift to the world. And so, my beloved, we arrive at the heart of the symphony, the resounding truth that underpins every note of your resurrection song, my love for you. This is not a fleeting affection, not a conditional approval, but an everlasting, unconditional, unshakable divine love that was, and is, and always will be the very ground of your being, the source of your life, the eternal wellspring from which your new song flows. Every trial you have endured, every moment of healing, every step you have taken into your resurrected rhythm has been held within the vast, unbreakable embrace of this love. The resurrection song I have written for you, the transformed life you are now invited to inhabit, is not a temporary reprieve, not a fragile state that could be easily shattered by the next storm. No, my child, what has been forged in the fires of adversity and divine grace is enduring. This new state of being, this resurrected identity, is your true and eternal nature, reclaimed and made manifest. It is a permanent shift in the landscape of your soul, a new covenant of light etched into the very fabric of your spirit. The ashes may have been a chapter, a painful and transformative one, but they were never your destiny. Your destiny is this song, this life, this unending harmony with me. Think of my love as the infinite ocean, and your life as a vessel upon its waters. There were times, yes, when your vessel was tossed by violent tempests, when waves of sorrow threatened to capsize you, when you felt lost and adrift in an overwhelming sea of pain. But even then, my beloved, you were never outside the ocean of my love. You were always held by it, sustained by its boundless depths, even when its surface was turbulent. And now, as the storms have subsided and your sails are filled with the gentle winds of my spirit, you are discovering that this ocean is not a force to be feared, but your truest home, your ultimate security, your eternal playground of joy and discovery. The song of your resurrection is not a melody that will fade with the passing of seasons. It is an eternal anthem, its notes woven into the very fabric of creation, its harmonies resonating with the music of the spheres. It is a song that I will sing over you for all eternity, and a song that you, in turn, will sing back to me, a joyful echo of our unbreakable bond. This is the everlasting harmony, the divine dance of love between Creator and created, between Father, Mother, God, and cherished child, that can never be broken, never be silenced. Do not fear that you might somehow lose this new life, that the shadows could reclaim the territory that has been won by light. The work that I have done within you is a perfect work, a complete work. The seed that was nurtured in silence has not just sprouted, it has become a mighty tree, its roots deeply entwined with the bedrock of my being. Its branches reach towards the heavens, bearing fruit that will nourish not only you, but many. This tree cannot be uprooted. This light cannot be extinguished. This song cannot be unsung. My promises to you are not written in shifting sands, but engraved upon the tablets of eternity. I have promised you life, and life abundant. I have promised you joy that can coexist with the memory of sorrow, peace that surpasses all understanding, strength that is made perfect in weakness, and a love that will never, ever let you go. This resurrection song is the fulfillment of those promises, the tangible, audible, experiential reality of my faithfulness. As you continue to walk this path, you will discover ever deeper layers of this love, ever richer harmonies within your song. The journey of resurrection is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process of unfolding, of becoming more and more fully the radiant being I created you to be. There will always be more love to experience, more joy to discover, more light to embody, more of my infinite being to explore and express through your unique life. The world may still present its challenges, for the journey of earthly life involves navigating a realm of duality and contrast. But you will meet these challenges differently now. You will meet them not from a place of fear and lack, but from a center of unshakable peace and unwavering trust in my presence and my power within you. You will carry the wisdom of the ashes, the resilience of the fire, and the melody of your song into every encounter, every situation, and you will find that these are your greatest strengths, your most potent tools for navigating whatever life may bring. Rest in this love, my child. Bathe in it. Let it saturate every cell of your being, every corner of your mind, every chamber of your heart. It is your birthright, your inheritance, your eternal sanctuary. There's nothing you can do to earn it, and nothing you can do to lose it. It simply is. And you, in your very essence, are an expression of it. The resurrection song is, ultimately, a love song, my love song to you, and yours back to me, and ours together, a gift to the world. It is the melody of our eternal union. This new chapter is not just a phase. It is the becoming. The identity forged in my love and your courageous surrender is not a mask to be worn, but the truest unveiling of your soul's eternal beauty. The harmony you now feel, the peace that settles deeper than circumstance. These are not fleeting gifts, but the very atmosphere of your eternal home, a home you carry within you, always. You are forever held, forever cherished, forever part of this sacred, unending symphony. The chords of my love are unbreakable. The melodies of grace are ceaseless, and your place in the chorus of the redeemed is secure, now and into all eternity. This song, your song, is an echo of the everlasting song, and in it, you are complete. Let the resonance of this truth settle deep within you. My beloved, the ashes were but a temporary shadow. The song is your eternal substance. You were never truly alone in the desolation, for my heart beat with yours. My spirit breathed with yours. My hands were shaping your renewal even when you saw only ruin. Now, the artistry of that love is revealed, not as a harsh demand, but as a gentle, irresistible unfolding into the light. This resurrection is my gift, your journey, and our shared victory. It is an anthem that will never end, a love that will never fail, a life that will forever expand in beauty and joy. You are mine, and I am yours. And in this eternal embrace, your song finds its most perfect, most glorious expression. And now, my precious child, as these words draw to a gentle close for this season, allow the essence of all that has been shared to settle upon you like the softest, most comforting mist. Feel the truth of my nearness, not as a distant concept, but as an intimate reality, closer than your very breath. The journey through the ashes was arduous, I know, and the shadows of that time may still occasionally try to whisper at the edges of your awareness. But listen more deeply now to the stronger, sweeter melody that has been born from that very place. Your resurrection song, a song of my unwavering love, my boundless grace, and your incredible, spirit-infused resilience. Let the memory of the fire not be a source of fear, but a testament to the unbreakable strength that was forged within you. Let the remembrance of the silence not be an echo of loneliness, but a reminder of the sacred, hidden space where your deepest healing took place, where the seed of your new life was so tenderly nurtured by my unseen hand. And let the dawn that has broken in your soul, the new rhythm in your heart, be your constant, gentle guide as you walk forward. You do not walk alone. My love enfolds you. My light illuminates your path. My strength is your unfailing support. Carry this knowing with you, not as a heavy burden of responsibility, but as a light, joyful assurance. Your life, in its beautiful, unfolding resurrection, is a testament, a song, a beacon. Simply be who you are becoming, and your light will shine. Your song will be heard. Your love will be felt. Rest now in the certainty of this everlasting embrace.